I am in the kitchen today to find the answer finally to a question that has been plaguing me for a while. And it is this: is it worth making the elusive French macaron cookie at home? I'm not talking about the chewy coconut sweetened condensed milk macaroon cookie that is really popular, sometimes dipped in chocolate, baked sometimes in little pyramids if you're at Disneyland, but sometimes just in mounds. They're delicious, super, super good. But what I'm talking about is that French cookie that looks a little bit like a mini hamburger. They come in all sorts of different flavors, all sorts of different colors. So I've had some good macarons in my life. I've had some not so good macarons in my life. I don't actually know how I feel about them. I'm kind of a little bit worried that I'm not fancy enough for French macarons. Is that a possibility? We're gonna find out today. I'm gonna make them. If you're a professional French macaron maker, you should probably stop watching this video like right now. So I'm gonna be using my food processor, I'm gonna be using my kitchen scale. I'm going to add powdered sugar, the almond flour, and a little bit of salt to my food processor. And the idea behind this is that it gets it super, super fine. And then I am going to sift this mixture into a large bowl with a strainer to get out all those fine little particles and leave anything that's coarse and not fine behind. So you can see I'm gonna leave these little bits in the strainer. They're too coarse, not fine enough for my macarons. I'm using room temperature egg whites. Okay, we want a little bit more salt in our egg whites. Sure. I'm gonna mix them until they're kind of frothy and foamy in this bowl. I'm going to add granulated sugar while I whip them, and I wanna whip until stiff peaks form. Yep. If your egg whites are whipped to stiff enough peaks, you should be able to turn the bowl upside down over your head and nothing will fall out. This calls for a little help. Okay, so you just need to take the bowl just like this and just turn it upside down over your head.
Oh, over my head?
Yeah, not over my head. Here we go. Oh yeah, ooh, you're sweaty. Don't put it too close. Okay, so do it again. Oh, yeah, no big deal, you got it. So as if French macarons aren't fussy enough, now comes the part that home bakers, and I suspect professional bakers everywhere, have some angst about. And that's incorporating these finely sifted dry ingredients into the egg white mixture. At some point, I'm gonna be able to do a figure eight with the batter. Oh my gosh, pray for me. So I'm going to add the dry ingredients a little bit at a time. I believe there's a super fancy term for this. I think it's called macaronage. Macrame? Age. My sous chef over there reading a book says it's something that ends in age. I'm just gonna go with mixing the dry ingredients into the egg whites. I'm so worried about overworking it. Underworking is the death of a French macaron, and overworking is the death of a French macaron. So that leaves me with a lot of perfectionist angst. If I take the batter, I am getting kind of a figure eight, but it's still kind of breaking. So I'm gonna mix just a little bit more. I'm gonna try another figure eight. I think I got it. I think I got a figure eight without the batter breaking, which makes me think I need to stop there. Okay, I'm gonna add a little pink food coloring, gel food coloring. Apparently that's the best thing. Hopefully by adding the food coloring at this point, I'm not over mixing because I want it to be perfect. Okay, I'm gonna put the batter in a pastry bag, and I have this ginormous tip. I'm gonna use that to pipe them out. Also could draw circles on my parchment paper baking sheet. About 1.5 inches, I think is what they suggest. But I have to pick my daughter up from her friend's house, so I don't have time for that. In you go, little batter. Oh dear, oh dear. Yikes! Okay, whoa. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I've got to start because the batter's coming out. Oh shoot. This is a bad idea. take my bag, and this time I'm gonna cut a much smaller hole in the tip. Lesson learned. And then I think I'm gonna pipe it around in a circle, right? Oh my gosh. I know some of you guys are crying big fat tears for me because I'm an idiot. Since I'm basically a French macaron making expert, now I know that I'm supposed to take the baking tray and tap it semi-aggressively on the kitchen counter to release any air bubbles. Here goes. Okay, second piece of French macaron expert wisdom. Let the unbaked macaron shells sit, this is what everyone tells me, for about an hour so that they form like a skin on top. You should be able to rub your finger across the top and not get any sticky batter on your fingers. So they're gonna sit. Okay, so these unbaked macaron shells have been sitting for right around 45 minutes. And you can see, I can run my finger over the top ever so gently, and they're completely smooth. Like, yeah, they formed like this little shell on top. So I'm gonna pop them in the 300-degree oven for about 17 minutes. I was so hopeful that my macarons were gonna turn out perfect that I even went to the work to make homemade frosting. Nope. I took my macaron shells out of the oven. I didn't even peek because I wanted to be surprised at how much I'd feel like a rock star when they turned out perfectly. This is not what we want. Here's the thing. They taste just like a macaron shell, but there's, you don't like macarons? Okay. There's a lot to be desired in the way of looks department. Okay. This is the most pathetic looking French macaron in the world. I could be a case study for what not to do when making French macarons. What did you say, Jack?
Tastes really good though.
Tastes really good. My actual macaron shells, they have a lot of issues. So, I don't even know what to tell you. You could use these as little Frisbees. Whoa.
Want me to try?
What? Did you seriously just throw Did you throw that into the living room?
It works.
Oh my gosh, you delinquent. I'm sure there's something really obvious that I did wrong. I don't know if I'm gonna try again. So now it's your turn to tell me your deep, dark thoughts about French macarons. Okay, no more Frisbee throwing with the macarons, okay? I definitely think my hypothesis from earlier is confirmed. My family is definitely not fancy enough for French macarons.